On the story, we've got Amrit Pal Singh joining us. Well, Amrit, good evening. Amrit, this particular all-out assault that Israel has had on Gaza, what are the implications of it?
It's not an all-out assault yet, in the sense that all their ground forces haven't gone in. A limited number of ground forces have gone in, but yes, they've gone in, Anil, with their tanks, other equipment, and there are infantry soldiers. Fierce battles took place at some limited places, but the all-out assault which everybody's been talking about and which the Israelis have been threatening is yet to happen. They've amassed their infantry, their artillery, their armored along the borders with the Gaza Strip. But with whatever is happening there, both the ground, sea, the naval, though the Navy is not operating directly there, but it has landed on the beach, on the coast of the Gaza Strip with the East Mediterranean. The idea of the Navy is not to get directly involved in the operations, but to see that any, weapons cache does not come into Gaza via the sea. And secondly, when it comes to the last stages, Hamas fighters don't escape from there, because their stated objective is to completely decimate Hamas. Now, but their ground assault, limited ground assault and their air strikes, their missile strikes are going on full swing. So what does it mean? It means that it will intensify in the coming days. The implications, if they go in completely, would mean a lot of civilian casualties, a steep climb in the civilian casualties, which are anyway very high. 8,000 plus is the figure which the UN is quoting, and Hamas is quoting a bigger figure. But then there are many of them are children, women in it. So for Benjamin Netanyahu's war cabinet, they have to factor in that till when can they ward off the international pressure. Those countries, the Western allies who are with them, but have also started, telling them that, look, this is something which you'll have to, figure out how you go about it. Jake Sullivan said in as many words that the burden is now on the Israelis to distinguish between the Hamas and the civilians. So how will Benjamin Netanyahu's government handle international pressure? Secondly, how do they juxtaposition that and achieve their stated objective of completely decimating the Hamas? Because for that, you will have to send ground forces in. You will have to engage in close combats. You will probably have to go into the tunnels. You will have to get into, handheld fights to kill them all, because they will blend in with the civilians. They are guerrillas. They don't follow any rules of war. So all that perhaps is weighing on Benjamin Netanyahu's mind, and that's why we see the operations, though intensifying, but in a calibrated fashion.
Considering the fact that this armed conflict is intensifying, why does the UN feel that this current aid system, especially for Gaza, is geared to fail?
Because the UN feels that and which is the truth also, that the amount of aid going in is far too less than what is required there. There is a humanitarian catastrophe unfolding out there. 6 lakh people have migrated into the south, and the south is also being hit. People are out there on the roads. Hospitals are overwhelmed. There are 35 hospitals in the Gaza Strip. 12 have stopped functioning. 5 more are at the verge of stop functioning. They bombed places near Al-Quds and Al-Shifa. Not only are the people who were generally ill, but those affected by the shelling, those injured, they are being brought in. Then there are people who've taking shelters in those hospitals because their homes are destroyed. So, it is actually a catastrophe unfolding there. And the amount of aid going in is far too less. Clean drinking water is finished. UNICEF spokesperson said today that people are forced to make their children drink seawater, which is very saline. You can die by drinking seawater over a period of time because they do not have clean drinking water. So, so they are pressing. The UN is saying, unless you increase this, the requirement could be anywhere between 100 to 200 a day, and what you're sending in is 20, 25. Now, since yesterday, the number of trucks have increased. Now Israel has agreed that it's okay if 100 trucks go in, but they say we will still monitor. So we don't know how many trucks will go in.
Okay.
But it is far, like not even half the number of trucks are going in. That's why the UN says what it's saying.
Okay. Amrit, looking at this conflict growing from here on, do you see, this affecting the global economy on a much larger scale? Because we've seen a major, a minor blip that took place, but after that the economy recovered. But do you see it having the potential to send jitters down the global economy?
Absolutely. And I'll tell you why I say so. There is a war going on. There is one war going on, Russia-Ukraine war. We've seen the effects of it on food basket, on fuel baskets, on food, fuel and fertilizers, how it has pushed some countries to the brink of default, on the brink of starvation. Supply chains, how the global supply chains have been disrupted. The world is in no position to afford another war.
Okay.
If the spillover happens, if Hezbollah goes in, intensifies further, Iran gets involved, if the civilian casualties go in, the Arab allies, Saudi, Qatar, who are mediating right now, they take a strident stand. What happens then? That is the power hub of the world, the Arab world. What if the oil prices rise? So the potential of it going through the roof remains, and things could go into a spin unless they are contained. And that is why you see heightened diplomacy to do so, that let Israel-Hamas fight, but if it has a regional escalation and a spillover, then it will surely affect the economy.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Thank you. Appreciate you joining us. Take good care of yourself. We'll come back to you for more updates on that Israel-Hamas conflict there entering its 25th day.